All right, I did start another video because I had an alert go off of one of my security systems, so I can check out who's doing what. But anyway, listen, let me go ahead and say this again. This is take two. All right, listen, I am not you all men's life coach on relationships. I really truly am. It's just that I've been doing this long enough to know how successful relationships work. I mean, after all, as a pastor, if you have any self-worth or anything stuff, you're pretty much a counselor. But I think men's biggest trouble and problem, and I want everybody to listen, so I'm going to answer this question, and I'm going to use this as a platform to be able to try to help everybody, okay? The problem with men today, you hear me say it all the time, is that they're too thirsty. Number one, they don't require obedience from their woman, and they don't know how to say no. You know, when you say no, it's almost like that the man himself is offended from saying no. You got to learn how to say no and then stick to your guns. Because, listen, ask any woman that would tell you the truth about their nature. They will tell you. And believe it or not, a woman studies a man. They study them very carefully. And not only do they study a man, but they test the perimeters of a man. They would do stuff on purpose just to test you to see how far their perimeters are. There are certain fence lines, if I can use that word right there. And they'll keep pushing the envelope to find out exactly how far they can go before they get up to the fence. And then they'll pull back a little bit. And they do this by nature. So, men, you need to understand that a woman studies you. Even when you don't think that she is studying you. And you know the reason why she's studying you? Because from the very beginning, whether they like it, comprehend it or not, even though it's been corrupted by the American public, it's totally irrelevant. They are divinely wired in this aspect right here. Woman, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you. That's the reason why that they study men, because it's in them to study you. Now, they should be studying you to see what they can do to continually to please you, to continually to bring peace and contentment to you. Mind you, I'm talking about a good man. I'm not talking about these fake gangsters, these sorry, lazy sluggards that don't even provide for their family. I'm talking about real men now, okay? So don't get the categories wrong, all right? But a woman by divine fiat and nature has a desire for her man. And she is there to try to please you in every way, shape, fashion possible. What happened is that we end up in this thing called civilization, and rather than using it, their nature and their character as to how to please you in everything, they use it as a means to manipulate you. So let me study you to manipulate you. And the problem with men today is that they're emasculated. They're not too much men today. What they don't do, men, is they don't check women. They just simply don't check them. You hear what I said? You don't tell them, look, don't do this again. Or you don't even hardly tell them what you want them to do. And you don't know how to say no. And that's the reason why that they have no respect for you whatsoever at all. Because you, by divine fiat, are designed to rule over the woman. Now, you're going to get all kind of people get mad at PastorDowell. Because all thing I'm going to say is pick up the Bible and see if what I'm saying is so. Listen, when you find a good woman, a good woman, that woman will, look what she will do. She will add long life and good days to you. She won't add a stressful situation. She won't get on your nerves. She won't be running around sighing with attitudes. She won't be running around giving you attitude problems and carrying on. No. She won't do that. Not a good woman. Now, a raunchy woman, there's a new term out there, at least it is for me, to call them thoughts. And I wouldn't even know why somebody even want to mess around with a thought. But anyway, that's neither here nor say. But anyway, when you got a woman that will fit the bill of a woman, all right? Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? Sad part about it is, you got a bunch of these loudmouth, rebellious, stiff-necked, stubborn, Jezebelic women, and a bunch of witches that actually think that they are of the virtuous woman. Unreal. Man, listen, I'm going to say it again. Women are outnumbering us at least 5 to 1. At least 5 to 1. And I realize that many of you done fell into the trap and snare of this world concerning relationships. I want you to listen to me. Get out of a toxic relationship where a woman does not submit to you. I'm talking about if you're a good man, that you're not an abuser, either verbally or physically. You're a damn good provider. You make sure that she's safe and her dwelling place is safe. Don't allow a woman to challenge you in any way, shape, fashion, or form. She shouldn't know how to entreat you. Now, you got to understand, when I'm talking about stuff, you know what? This is going to be the last time on YouTube, hopefully, that I'm going to talk about stuff like this. I usually talk about stuff like this over Pateron, because usually only good people come over on Pateron anyway. But I ain't putting no more of this stuff like this out on YouTube, because all I'm doing is casting pearls before a bunch of pigs or swine, because you're going to see the ones that are really truly listening. They're going to get it, and they're going to like, there's nothing wrong with a woman submitting to her man. Nothing at all. That's the order of things. There's nothing wrong with a man protecting, providing, and caring for his woman. That's the order of things. And when men and women both are outside of their roles, where the men are turned around, they're feminine, and the women are masculine, that's a bad recipe for disaster right there too. I mean, a real bad recipe for disaster. So, there's a lot of things that are much to be desired. There's a lot of things that need to be considered and stuff. I realize that when people hear this, based on their previous programming, they're going to respond or react accordingly that way. Most people go off into their emotions and their feelings, which they are not really familiar with. 1 minute up, next minute down. It depends on which way the wind blow, how they feels. There's really no stability whatsoever at all, no substance. You can't find yourself in that type of a situation. You really truly can't. You got to be solid as a rock. Because I'm gonna end this video on this, because the truth is, a man is the only one that can love a woman. A woman, the only way, and I say it again, the only way that she can show that she loves her man is by obedience to him, by doing what he says. As long as it doesn't conflict with God's law, do exactly what he says. That's the only way. And it's sad, because wives in this generation right here, they're not even taught, especially in those churches out there, to obey their husbands. Nope. And the husband understands the obedience, because, we ourselves are brides of Christ, all right? And we have to be obedient to Yahshua, the Master, the Father. We got to be obedient to him. So we know what it takes to be obedient. So anyway, hey, I hope I said enough to stimulate thought. I hope I did. If I didn't, none of my business. You got offended, none of my business. You got edified, I hope so. I would love that to be my business, but hey, whatever. Y'all have a good day.